Hi everyone, it's Nandi. Welcome back to Vibrant Authentic Living. Today we're going to be looking at this wonderful and powerful herb, the Guinea hen weed. Now, I want to tell you a backstory about how I came to have this big bundle of power in my hands today. So yesterday I set off and I said I needed to get some Guinea hen weed because I've been using it a lot lately as one of the herbs in my female formula that I make for myself. So that batch of herbs include the Guinea hen weed, the red raspberry leaf, the donqua, which is called the female ginseng, and what was it? There's another one I include in that batch, slipping me right now. So it's a red raspberry leaf, the donqua, the Guinea hen weed. When I remember the other one, I'll tell you. Alright, so I know that the chase berries to regulate your hormones, right? Regulate your pituitary gland and all the hormones that it controls the secretion of, all the glands that it controls the secretion of. So the chase berries are very good, and I have that combination. So my Guinea hen weed was finished and I left my home yesterday. Usually I get the Guinea hen weed at the Herbal store, or there is this supermarket, mega superstore, where they have a little herbal section, and I get my Guinea hen weed there. So I went to the mall yesterday, to the Portmore Mall. I live in Jamaica, for those of you who don't know. So I went to the Portmore Mall, and the distance from the Portmore Mall to Mega Mart is a good little walk, right? So I was saying, boy, I have to go walk all the way down there to get my Guinea hen, and I wasn't even sure if they would have any, right? So I was at the mall and I was waiting in line to use the ATM, and then I saw this Rasta man passing by with a bundle of, he had some root tonic that he had made, and so several bottles of root tonic. And the Guinea hen is used in a lot of root tonic here in Jamaica because it is such a panacea. It's good for so many things, right? So I saw him passing, and he was calling out Guinea hen tonic. So I said to him, but I don't want the tonic, right? Because I make my own. So I said to him, would you by any chance have any of the herb with you, right? I know they don't usually work with the herb. They usually make the tonic and sell the tonic. So they keep the herb at home, right? But yesterday he just so happened to have this on him. So he said, you know what? I have $500 worth. For those of you in other countries, it might sound like a lot, but in my island home, it's not that much because our currency is not that hot right now. So I bought the $500 worth, and here you have it. So I'm able to show you today. So this is the Guinea hen weed, and I'm going to be telling you about it now. Now, usually when I'm sharing with you about the herbs, I just talk, or I might have some prompts looking at, just to remind me of certain things. But today I'm actually going to be looking at these notes because there are so many things that the Guinea hen weed is used for, and I don't want to forget any of them. So this is 4 pages. I'm not gonna read all 4 pages, but I wanted to have it just to trigger my memory so I don't forget anything. No, the guinea hen weed, it has a strong smell, and a lot of persons find it off-putting. I don't mind the smell, but because of that strong smell, it's often used as an insect repellent. It's also like as I mentioned before, I have it in my female herbal brew that I use for myself, because the guinea hen is widely used in Jamaica as a female herb to strengthen the uterus. It's also used, some people would use it because of that property that it has. Some people would use it as an abortive, right? So I've never used it for that. I use it to strengthen the uterus, to clean out the uterus. Some people use it for fibroids, and if they have menstrual issue, any menstrual issues, it's like it just takes the uterus and gives it a nice firm shape, right? So what some women find too is that when they're on their period, if they take the guinea hen weed, it can actually, it make the periods seem to be a little longer and a little heavier, but what it's really doing is just cleaning out the uterus, right? And it will actually, if there are fibroids there, if there are growths, the guinea hen weed will work from the inside out as well as within the chamber of the uterus, right? So that's why I take it for myself, to keep the uterus firm and clean. You know, for me, I use a combination, as I tell you, the guinea hen weed, the chasteberries, the donqua, and the red raspberry leaf. All of those herbs are well known in herbal practice as female herbs. Not that males can't take them, right? Because I actually, the red raspberry, the guinea hen, I also use them in herbal brews for my family, for my entire family. So I'll just make the tea and then I'll combine it with fruits, with fruit juices and so on. Alright, so on my notes I have and these are traditional uses, right? I'm not a medical doctor, I'm telling you how we have traditionally used it and how guinea hen has been used around the world. I can swear for it from my personal use. You can try it and see if it works for you. Alright, so the guinea hen is used for colds, to relieve headache, rheumatism, arthritis. As I mentioned before, it is used as an insecticide because of the very strong smell that it has. No, there is a long list of things. I'm just going to read down the list and explain as I go what those properties mean. Alright, so the guinea hen has been used, and in Jamaica at the University of the West Indies, now as we speak, and for a number of years, the guinea hen is being studied as a cure for cancer, particularly leukemia, right? So it's a very powerful, potent herb. Alright, so it's being studied for treatment of leukemia, breast cancer, and other cancers. In Jamaica, traditionally, we use the guinea hen as antiviral. So that means it will boost the immune system and so make your body better able to fight off viruses, common cold, influenza, and so on. Anti-candidal. So that means, you know, candida is a fungus, and it can manifest in several areas of the body. For women, you get candida as a yeast infection, but it can be in the throat, it can be any part of the body, right? And there are other fungi that affect the body: athlete's foot, jock itch, ringworm. All of those antifungal infection. So the guinea hen is antifungal, antibacterial. Now, when it comes to antibacterials, to my knowledge, the herbal antibacterials don't work in the same way as the antibiotics. And I'm strongly against antibiotics because the bacteria in your body are essential. We need them to survive. We need them in our gut to help us to process our foods and absorb the nutrients from the food. But I think if there's an overgrowth of bacteria, if we're eating the wrong foods and it leads to a proliferation of bacteria, then the certain herbs can help you to keep that back down, get it back down to the right level that it should be. But don't you ever try to kill all the bacteria in your body. First of all, it's impossible to kill all of them, but the antibiotics, they kill what we so-called good bacteria as well as the bad bacteria. It's the so-called bad bacteria. With the herbs, from my research and in my personal use, what I've found is that they just, with regards to the bacterial action, they will just clean the body out and so minimize or get rid of that proliferation of bacteria, right? But it's not that they're going to rid you of bacteria, because we don't want anything to rid us of the bacteria in our bodies. The guinea hen weed is an immune stimulant, so it boosts your immunity and make you able to fight invaders, right? Germs, viruses, or pathogens that enter the body. For urinary tract infections, abortive. Now, as I said, we have traditional uses, and one of those uses is persons have used it for abortion, and as a matter of fact, pregnant women are advised not to use the guinea hen weed, because like I said, it is like it takes your uterus and gives it a nice shake. I can tell you that from my experience. So if I'm on my period and I take the guinea hen, I don't normally, ever since from my period started as a child coming up, I don't normally have heavy periods or clots or things like that, because my diet has been pretty clean since early teenage. I became a vegetarian at 13, 14 years old, so I don't usually have those issues, no pain ever at all, no clots or anything like that. But if I take the guinea hen, I find that it does make my period a little heavier, and I might see 1 or 2 clots. And what I think that means is that it's shaking things up and getting things out, right? So I can swear for that from my personal use. Analgesic, so that's a pain, which relieves pain, it calms down the nerves if you have headaches and so on. Anti-inflammatory, so pretty much any disease in the body is inflammation, and inflammation can manifest itself in pain, fever, bruises, rashes, oozing, itching, anything like that. Inflammation. And what that means is that the body is in an acidic condition. Herbs like the guinea hen weed are called anti-inflammatory, really, because they go in and they clean out the lymphatic system and neutralize those acids, and so the body can return to an alkaline state and the inflammation goes down. Alright, we also have anti-protozoal, right? So that will some little parasites that you might have in your body, some protozoan, worms, flukes, those kinds of things. Anti-tumorous. Now remember, tumors are just sacks of waste matter that the body has kind of tucked away because the eliminative system isn't working so much to flush it out. So rather than just leave it running rampant in the system, your body is so intelligent, it takes that and just tucks it away in a little sack, and that really is a tumor. Herbs that clean the lymphatic system, helps the kidneys to drain and get that sewage away, so the tumors will shrink. And remember, fibroids are a kind of tumor, and we're talking about the function of the Guinea hen weed in the uterus. Very powerful. Hypoglycemic, uterine stimulant, which we've been talking about. Anti-anxiety and diuretic. So it might make you sweat more, which is great because that means you're releasing toxins through the skin. Diuretic meaning it promotes urine formation, so you would pee more, which is also good because, as you know, the bladder is an eliminative organ, and we get rid of waste, urea and other waste in the urine. So it reduces fever, menstrual stimulant, sedative, and so on. Oh, by the way, so the Guinea hen weed is also called anamu in places, right? Right. So, as I said, I'm not going to read everything, but you can do your own research. Certainly, you can go on the internet or go to your elders, ask around. We in the Caribbean and here in Jamaica, the Guinea hen weed is very popular as a traditional herb. Especially you will have, like I said, the man yesterday, he was going around selling these herbal tonics, and the Guinea hen weed is one of the main constituents of that herbal tonics, and you will see people buying these tonics and taking them or brewing their own at home, which is what I do, right? But I've never had a bundle like this. I've always just bought it dried in the herbal store. So I was so pleased yesterday to be able to actually, look at the leaves and see what it really looks like. And if you can see, it has these what do you call them, fibrils, stems, right? So I was very pleased to be able to see this herb in its natural form, leaves still green, fresh, everything. I was very pleased. And that is what you call divine providence. That is divine providence. I left out with the intention of getting the Guinea hen weed, but that I would have had to do so much walking, and as I said, maybe because I've been to that store for several weeks and they have been out, so maybe would not have even gotten any, but here it is. It just came right to me, and that's divine providence, and that's how you have to live your life. Cast things out into the universe, project it, believe it, receive it, and it will definitely come back to you. So I'm wrapping up now. If you would like to support the channel, just follow the link in the description. Go on over to Patreon and become a supporter. As usual, I always share with you my natural herbal remedies, share with you the fruits that grow so abundantly in my native Jamaica. And I want to encourage you to add more fruits to your diet as much as you can. The ripe fruits, organic fruits if you can get them, ripened on the tree if you can get them, but if not, just do the best that you can. Until then, this is Nandi signing out with my Guinea hen weave.